Mark Lee, my informative speech. The purpose of the speech is to share an experience that I was involved in during the first Desert Storm. During that time, I was stationed. I was in the U.S. Navy, stationed aboard the USS Saratoga. After 62 days of being out at sea, we pulled into Haifa, Israel for Liberty Call. Just imagine what was supposed to be a relaxing Liberty Call that turned into a nightmare that had myself along with 101 of my other shipmates fighting for our lives. So we pulled into Haifa, Israel, and went out in the city for a little R&R. The group I was with went and got something to eat. Later on, we met up with another group of friends of ours at a park/zoo in downtown Israel. It was getting late, so I thought that I would go back to the ship instead of staying out in town. So I called my wife, called my mom. All of us rushed back down to the shore to catch the last ferry. And once aboard the ferry, nothing was out of the ordinary. Keep in mind that somehow the Israelis said that we were responsible. Just keep that in mind. So once we were aboard, I took a window seat, and once we cleared the jetties, before we cleared the jetties, everything was fine. Once we cleared the jetties, the seas got choppy. I decided to switch seats to an aisle seat, and once we were about midway between the Saratoga and the shore, a guy came in from the back and said, "Hey, there's water coming in back here." I had never seen water enter into a cabin, so I decided to stand up and on the ladder well leading up to the pilot house. As we ascended the swell, I turned around and looked at the captain, and he was staring. All of a sudden, he stopped, he looked, and he dove out of the door. I thought to myself, that can't be good. So once we descended the swell, the boat listed, and water rushed in from everywhere. All I heard was screams and pandemonium. I didn't even look behind me. I thought to myself, how do I get out of here? And remembered that the pilot left the left-hand door open. So once the boat filled up with water, I swam out of that door. Once I got to the top, all I saw was people bobbing around in the water and debris. So I grabbed the nearest thing to me, which was a seat cushion off of the upper deck. And about 5 other of my shipmates joined me on that seat cushion. Initially, there was one large group, but we were getting tossed around, so it kind of splintered off. About 20 minutes, we were bobbing around, and there was another rescue vehicle vessel that was behind us, and it actually went through the larger group of individuals. Later on, I learned that some of those individuals didn't make it. About an hour later, there was a boat that pulled up alongside of us, and I started to lift a couple of my shipmates up so that they could be taken aboard. All of a sudden, I heard someone say, "We'll be back." And I recognized a voice, and I was like, "Please don't leave me here." It was an individual from my squadron, YN2 Paul. The next thing I remember is feeling somebody held onto my belt. Bloop, I was aboard ship. We started heading back to Saratoga, and once we got there, the individuals, 2 individuals had collapsed. So they were extracted first, and then once I got off, I was told that I had to lay down, and they would take me up to the deck. Well, once they started carrying me up the ladder well leading up to the hangar bay on the Saratoga, one of them slipped and almost dropped me. And I'm about 20 feet up, and I thought to myself, this is how it ends? So once we got up there, they laid me down, and one of the corpsmen came and asked, was I okay? I said, yes, I think so. Right about that time, one of the individuals that collapsed, they laid right beside me. They were doing chest compressions. I don't think he made it. So I got up, went up to my berthing, and took a shower and went to bed. The next day I went to my work center. Everybody thought they had seen a ghost. And remember, I said to remember that the Israelis somehow said that we were contributed to the ferry sinking, and we weren't. The story I just told happened just the way I said it did. However, in the newspaper here, one of the Israeli newspapers, they said that, you know, they inferred that the sailors weren't unruly and that we had something to do with it, which we did not. So in the end of it all, it's a cautionary tale that even when we aren't in the midst of war, that military personnel are at risk, right? There was an individual that wrote a book called Screamed Overboard, who was actually a corpsman that assisted us that evening. Valentine is his name. And ultimately, even when us military members encounter tragedy, it doesn't just impact us, it also impacts our loved ones as well. So that is what happened.